So one day I asked.
Just keep going.
So one day I asked him if he could remember back to a point in his life where he wasn't homeless and he was feeling good about himself. And I just wanted to find out what he wanted at that point. So I asked him, "What do you want?" And he says, "I would love to be homeless. I would love to be in a home, and I'd like to stop drinking, but I don't have the capability of doing it myself." So I kind of took him under my wing, and again, I just asked him to look back in his life to remember a time where he wasn't homeless, where he felt good about himself. He had gained 50 or 60 pounds, and he decided out of the blue to allow me to take him to a city housing authority appointment to find out if there was housing available. So we filled out the applications. It was very awkward. I accompanied him into an office. He smelled terrible. He looked terrible. He hadn't cut his hair, but he found it within himself to muster the power to go and do an interview and to fill out the application to do it. So after 11 months of sitting and standing out in front of this market, he finally took the steps to go out and do something for himself. And I remember back sometime during that long period of time where I used to walk up to him and say, "Hey, you got two choices with that beer in your hand. You can either give it to me and let me pour it out, or I can call the cops and have them arrest you." So I think it was the tough love that made him turn to realize that, hey, there's somebody out here that really does care about me and wants to do something for me, and he allowed me to reach out to him and do it. So I think the real success here was twofold, that I was able to jump into his life and encourage him to think about a time where he felt good about himself and try and remember what it was like so that he could do that once again. And the second part of it was just that he was able to reach down inside of himself and remember what it was like, and then allow somebody to help him get out of that cycle. And I'm pleased to say he's been in that house now in the apartment for about 13 months, and he's doing great. I check in on him once every couple weeks, and he's following up with his regular medical appointments. He goes to his mental health assessment appointments, and it's just so great to see him succeed finally.
So if you wanted to tell people something about this cause, or what the biggest need is as far as getting care and help for homeless, what would that be? If there's anything.
So the biggest need I see is really, there are two things. Number one, the housing. So many of the people, the housing, number one, and number two are the mental health services are really, really difficult. It is true that a large number of homeless people on the street, I don't know what the statistic is, but from my personal experience, a very large percentage of the people that are on the street are dual diagnosis. So they've got severe mental health issues, and there's just not enough services to go around to help them with the kind of things that they need. So they self-medicate, they do drugs, they do alcohol, and that's the only way to really help, because it's something that they can get quick and easy, and it takes the pain off, and they're not able to regularly go in and see a mental health expert or a psychiatrist to get the correct medication. And of course the problem there is if they're able to get the medication and they start getting on the medication, they can't keep up with it because they're homeless. They can't keep up with going in and going to the pharmacy and getting their medication. So it's very difficult for them to stay on that track. So they stay away from the psychiatrist and they self-medicate. So the two major things, again, are the mental health. There needs to be much more mental health, especially in California. The services that are provided are very minimal. And of course, housing is a number one. If we could get them off the street and into housing and be able to have those wraparound services to come help them, we could get so many of them off the street.